I'm coming. If you hand over to government to maintain, they budget the money and share it.
To live in that particular place that the house is. So it's supposed government will really compensate them so that and pay them and relocate them to where they are going and build another house for them.
Careful engineering and management to meet human needs. Healthy life and safe environment are a result of responsible management of waste, which is an essential aspect of sustainable building. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Property Doctor, the show that brings to property owners and property users the easiest remedies as to how you own a house, maintain your home, make your homes look beautiful all by yourself. Thank you for being with us today. We are happy to present this topic, which is about waste disposal in our buildings. You know, we have a lot of waste, different kinds of waste from different areas. You have waste from construction sites, from the markets, from the hospitals, from schools, different kinds of waste. But we are talking particularly about waste disposal in our building today. But first, what is waste? Waste are unwanted and unusable materials, and it could be any substance that can be discarded after its primary use, or is worthless or defective or of no use to that person. Sometimes you might see that this thing is of no use to you, but you know, it might be useful to another person. These days where you have recycling of waste, people coming up with different things, you see that it might not be useful to you, but it's useful to another person. So waste is classified by source, that is the source where you get the waste, and its composition. Broadly speaking, waste material are either liquid, like liquid, you know, solid form, where you can touch, you can hold it, and sometimes it can even be in a gaseous state. And their components might be hazardous or non-hazardous, inactive, and in effect, the effect of that waste on health and on the environment. The term waste is typically applied to solid waste from our buildings. Now, in our buildings, you have sewage waste, wastewater, hazardous waste, electronic waste, different kinds of waste that we can get from our building, even from the piece of paper that is not useful to as large as maybe electronic material or something that is old that people don't like to use anymore. So how do you dispose waste at home and your environment at large or generally? Don't forget that waste disposal involves the collection, the segregation, maybe the processing, recycling, or the decomposition of the waste material in the human society. It will interest you to know that every household made an effort to plan, to segregate their waste and the waste management. If they do this properly, it will make it much simpler and it will make it more economical, you know, generally. So here's how you can manage your waste, your household waste competently, so that you will not become a problem to the society. You know, sometimes people just drop their trash on the road, or drop pieces of paper, or just drop things. That is a very bad thing to do. You know, if you respect your environment and you want to protect your environment, you dispose your waste properly. And you know, this is December time. We have a lot of people, you know, the weather is changing. People will be catching cold and they need tissue paper. There's a lot of festive activities going on, weddings, you know, the Christmas period is just by the corner and it's the end of year. So a lot of people will do so many things like cooking, buying gifts and all those things, going to shops, buying a lot of things. So you find out that you generate more waste around this particular period. it's not that you're not generating waste in other periods, but right now you'll be generating waste. And we're trying to see how we can reduce waste that will be generated during this period and manage the waste that has even been generated. The first step is to reduce waste in the house. So how do you achieve this? You know, when you want to go for shopping, go with a shopping bag. Don't gather different kinds of bags, nylon bags, shopping bags. Maybe you want to show off to people that you went for shopping. This increases the number of waste material or waste products that you'll be bringing back to your home. And if you have things like maybe tomato, like pepper and all that, you can pack all of them together so that the bag in which you're packing these things together will just be one. Reduce the number of things that will be scattered in different shopping bags during this period. The next step involves reusing or recycling material. For instance, donate unused material like clothes to people who need them. Some of us have clothes that we have not even worn in 1, 2, 3 years, but we're still keeping them in the house. What is that doing in your home? That means you really don't need those things that you have not used for years. That's my opinion, though. So you can give them out to people who will use them. Sometimes some of us have even grown bigger than those clothes, but you are just attached, you know, like somebody said, sentimentally attached to this particular blouse or this particular shirt or something. But you can give it to somebody who will use them before they go out of fashion. Reuse some of these things that you have instead of getting new one if they are still your size. Thereby you occupy your house with irrelevant materials if you don't give them out. Remember to segregate your waste. That means you separate them. Put the biodegradable things, put them in another place. Put the things that will be non-biodegradable, things that can decompose, put them together in one place. Things that cannot decompose, put them in a particular place. Now you have things like plastic. It takes time for plastic to decompose. So you can separate them, segregate them, put them in different package or different bins. It makes it easy for them to sort when the Environmental Protection Board of your area comes to dispose the waste. Now, like we're talking about Abuja, you can separate canned waste, you can separate polythene waste, you can separate plastic, as this can be recycled and it can be used to produce other materials. This can reduce the cost of production for somebody else. Most of all, follow the rules of Abuja Environmental Protection Board in our environment here, because we are talking about Abuja. But in your own environment, you can follow the protection board or the agencies that are managing waste in that particular area. So thank you for joining us today. We hope you have learned something, and we'll be right back after the break.
I'm coming. If you hand over to government to maintain, they budget the money and share it.
To live in that particular place that the house is. So it's supposed government will compensate them so that and pay them and relocate them to where they are going and build another house for them.
Careful engineering and management to meet human needs. Welcome back. If you're just joining us for the first time, you're watching Property Doctor. And on this episode, we are discussing waste disposal in our building. So let's talk about the effect of waste management. You must know that disposing of waste has huge environmental impact, and it can cause serious problems to our health, which means it can be hazardous. There are some waste that are not hazardous, but we are now talking about some waste that are hazardous, that it can cause problem to our health if we do not dispose them properly. Some waste will eventually rot, but not all. And in the process, it may smell and generate methane gas, which is explosive and contributes to the greenhouse effect. Leachate produced as waste decomposes may cause pollution. That is like when you have liquid coming out from a particular waste material. This can cause pollution. So we have different kinds of waste. We have to be careful, because if the waste is not disposed properly, it may become a problem to the people in that particular environment. Waste management is for you to have a healthy and safe environment for you, your family, your friends, and all your loved ones. So don't forget to take reusable bags to the store when shopping. Reduce or eliminate the use of paper plates, because when you keep using this kind of plates, sometimes we don't want to use paper plates. We want to use plastic plates or different plates, that we can use in our homes right now. Sometimes we want to use those plates so that if you use paper plates, you feel that, oh, I don't need to wash. So you try to use paper plates so you can just dispose. But when you want to dispose this thing, you are creating more waste in your environment. You can store leftover food in reusable containers instead of single-use plastic bags or polystyrene foam containers. That foam-like kind of plates we use to buy things from the restaurants. Reduce or minimize the use of plastic bags and polystyrene foam. Dispose all waste materials properly, not just drop them on the road or just drop them anyhow. This can become a big problem to us. Remember that there's a popular saying which says cleanliness is next to godliness. So thank you for joining us on today's episode of Property Doctor. And if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you can do so on the link below this video. You can follow us on Facebook and on Instagram at Property Doctor NG and on Twitter at Property Doc NG. We hope to see you next time. Enjoy the rest of the day. And thank God we're in the month of December, so happy Christmas in advance. We'll be sharing some other tips with you. We hope you enjoy those tips that we'll be bringing very shortly. Bye.